yet, but there was a character I really admired named Ross, and I knew he had a story I wanted to tell, and I kind of wanted to just kind of give a final sense of, particularly Serena, without being encumbered by a husband, so she could really get mean, you know. And so this is just the opening, and when she's actually been in South America, where her last partner is Joseph Mengele. Really, I mean, in the book, in Serena, but this is a little bit before that. You know, this is before World War II. But she's come. I was thinking about how to have her come back into North Carolina, and I thought almost like a Wagnerian character, you know, kind of descending from the skies. I had to do research and find a plane that would get her from South America to Miami at least. So this is a scene, but. So she's come back. When Serena Pemberton stepped out of the Commodore seaplane in July of 1931, a small but fervent contingent of reporters and photographers awaited her. Except for the pilot, she was alone. Those who would accompany her to the logging camp, both beast and human, had arrived by ship the night before. They were already on the train that would take them from Miami to North Carolina. All except for her minion Galloway, who procured an automobile to drive Serena to the station. As the metal ramp was ready, Galloway positioned himself beside the bottom step. He was short and wiry, shabbily dressed, purple stump protruding from one sleeve. His cameras flashed mere inches from his face. He did not blink. As Serena ascended, the first question shouted at her addressed the rumors surrounding her husband's death. For a moment, it didn't appear she would answer, but when her booted feet settled securely on the ground, the question was asked again, with a caveat that she loved her husband. I love my husband, but one always learns from disappointments. But what of his death, Mrs. Pemberton? And what of many others of your acquaintance, the reporter asked. Logging is a dangerous business, she answered. Galloway was in front of her now, but Serena, almost a head taller, was clearly visible. He cleared a path as more questions came. Would she continue to fight against the national park? Would she address the rumor that she was connected to the recent demise of Horace Kephart, the park's chief advocate? Did she oppose the Davis-Bacon Act? Why risk a transatlantic enterprise when she and her late husband had achieved so much in the States? Galloway opened the DeSoto's passenger door, Serena about to get in, when the sole woman in the group, a reporter for the New Republic, stepped close. She was very young, but like Serena, tall and blonde. When will you have achieved all your ambitions, Mrs. Pemberton? She asked, as others jostled around them. When the world and my will are one, Serena answered. That the woman who asked that question is Martha Gellhorn. I don't know if y'all are familiar with her or not, but she was a very courageous woman, a war correspondent, and married to Hemingway. She was too much for Hemingway, so I thought she would be a good person to question Serena. I just want to read one quick poem. This is a poem I wrote. Wow, it's been 27 years ago. And there's a poem I love by John Donne called Good Friday Driving Westward. And it's, I think, one of the great religious poems. And in 1995, my grandparents are buried in a graveyard in Buncombe County, about 15 miles outside of Asheville. And Rash is not that common a name, but when you go there are these rows with just Rash. And that's always kind of haunted me because it's the one place where that's true. And this is a poem about just kind of imagining, going to that place, kind of connecting to those people, the way Mark does here. And, but also imagining the resurrection. Good Friday, 1995, driving westward. This day I feel I live among strangers. The old blood ties beckon, so I drive west to Buncombe County. Weedy graveyard where my rare last name crumbles on stone. All were hard-shell Baptists, farmers who believe the soul is another seed that endures when flesh and blood are shed, that all things planted rise toward the sun. I dreamed in shaking dirt off strange new forms. Gathered for the last harvest, they hold hands, take their first day's steps toward heaven.